So let's now cross to SABC News Correspondent Nick Harper, who is live for us in Washington, D.C. Nick, a very good afternoon to you. So you're watching these developments from Washington. President Trump has said on his social media page that Venezuela's President Maduro has been captured. He's expected to hold a media briefing from Mar-a-Lago, we understand, in a few hours' time. From your end, what can be confirmed about this particular capture and, of course, subsequent indictment reports or claims in the Southern District of New York?
That's right, that news conference due to kick off in just under 3 hours' time from Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump promising that there will be more details revealed at that press conference, because so far, I have to admit, details have been somewhat limited. No word from the Pentagon or the military side of things on how all of this went. The details have been limited really to what Donald Trump put in that social media post, and then a subsequent brief telephone interview that he did with the New York Times, in which he said that this was a beautiful operation. That operation, the military strikes, and then the capture of Nicolas Maduro and his wife. So Donald Trump is likely to give more details, and I think really top of the list that many people will want to know, including Venezuela, that has called out the US on this, is getting some sort of proof of life of Nicolas Maduro. Will there be pictures or video of him in US custody? Will there be more details about him coming to the United States? Because as you mentioned, Pam Bondi, the US Attorney General, has put out on social media that statement reiterating charges against Nicolas Maduro, charges that were originally filed in March 2020 during Donald Trump's first term in office. And Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, says that they have been filed in the Southern District of New York. She details them, including narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, and various things, including the possession of machine guns and destructive devices that she suggests would have been used against the United States. The US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has also spoken to a US Senator, Mike Lee, a Trump ally, in which he did reiterate and confirm that Nicolas Maduro would be heading to the US and would be standing trial. So therefore, at some point, we are likely to see Nicolas Maduro pop up in New York and have to face those charges in court for the initial arraignment and then detention pending trial. But of course, Donald Trump is likely to speak more on it in a couple of hours' time. But some of those details, some of those specifics, I think are really what people want to be hearing from the president.
Yeah. Venezuela's Minister of Defense says that the country will resist the presence of any foreign troops. What has been international reaction? We know, of course, that several countries have condemned this attack, saying that it is a violation of Venezuela's sovereignty.
Well, that's right. And I think what we've seen with that international reaction is a very clear split between countries that are aligned with Venezuela or against the United States, and countries who are at least somewhat supportive of what the US has done. And in particular, we've heard from Russia, Cuba, Colombia, Chile, all of them speaking out against what the United States has done. The Russian Foreign Ministry, for example, said that it was extremely concerned by what it called the aggressive actions of the United States, and said that it constituted an unacceptable violation of the sovereignty of an independent state. That in reference to the fact that the US has gone in and essentially kidnapped, taken into custody a sitting head of government. We have seen some countries, though, coming out in support, including the United Kingdom. It has said via the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer that they were not involved in this operation, but largely supportive of it. The European Union's head of foreign affairs has also been speaking, again reiterating what it has reiterated over many, many years, that the EU, like the US, does not view Nicolas Maduro as a legitimate president. They say that he stole the two elections back in 2018 and then most recently back in 2024. But the EU also urging restraint, and I think that's an important note to take, that they're saying that they largely back this idea of Maduro not being legitimate, but very much warning there the US against any further military action, urging that restraint and really cool heads to go forward from here.
Absolutely, Nick. Thank you so much for that update. Nick Harper, live for us from Washington, D.C. Of course, we are monitoring that press statement that will, or briefing rather, that will take place in Mar-a-Lago from President Donald Trump. It is roughly expected around 6 p.m. local time.